You look at this game against the Chicago Bears, and it's the kind of loss that makes Raider Nation's blood boil. This wasn't supposed to happen. Everything was set up perfectly for the Raiders to walk out of Allegiant Stadium with a statement win. The defense played like warriors, with Max Crosby terrorizing the Bears' offensive line on nearly every snap. Ashton Genty put together the game of his young career, slashing through holes and carrying defenders like a man possessed. The running game was explosive. The offensive line held strong. And even after losing Colton Miller to a high ankle sprain, they didn't allow a single sack. That's dominance up front. That's everything you ask for from your guys in the trenches. And yet, somehow, the Raiders found a way to choke it away, 25-24, not against Kansas City, not against Buffalo, against the Chicago Bears, led by Caleb Williams, a rookie still learning how to read NFL defenses. The Bears had no business winning this game. The Raiders should have beaten them by 3 touchdowns. Instead, turnovers, sloppy execution, and a blocked field goal in the biggest moment of the game turned what should have been a victory lap into another heartbreaking chapter in the franchise's long, painful history. This wasn't just disappointing, this was flat out embarrassing. And the truth is, Raider fans don't need to look far for the culprit. Geno Smith was a disaster. People have tried to be patient with him, tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but patience has its limits. Geno threw 3 interceptions in this game, bringing his season total up to 6, possibly 7, depending on how you count them. These weren't unlucky tips or freak plays. These were bad decisions from a quarterback forcing balls into places they never should have gone. His final stat line, a pitiful 117 yards passing. In today's NFL, you don't win with numbers like that. You don't win when your quarterback is handing the other team free possessions. And you especially don't win when 2 of those interceptions lead directly to points for Caleb Williams. In a 1-point game, that's the difference between victory and disaster. What makes it sting even more is that the offensive line did its job. This was a unit missing its best tackle. Yet they gave Geno clean pockets and opened wide lanes for Genty to rack up 138 rushing yards. They gave him every chance to succeed, and he threw it away. Geno wasn't under siege. He wasn't running for his life. He just didn't deliver. But the quarterback wasn't the only problem. Special teams were an outright fiasco. Jacob Moyer, the long snapper, got exposed because of a tell. Every time he moved the ball before snapping, the Bears read it. They knew when the snap was coming, and they timed it perfectly. On the game's biggest kick, Josh Blackwell came off the edge, untouched, and blocked Daniel Carlson's 54-yard attempt. That single mistake sealed the loss. Think about that. Despite all the turnovers, despite the blown chances, the Raiders still had a shot to steal the game. But they couldn't even execute a basic field goal operation. That's the kind of detail work that separates great teams from perennial losers. Now, coaching has to take some heat too. Pete Carroll was brought in to steady the ship, to be the veteran presence who could navigate tight situations. But how many times can we watch this team crumble in the 4th quarter? How many times can we watch his offense, led by Chip Kelly, look flat and uninspired? This system has no rhythm, no creativity, and no identity. You've got Brock Bowers, one of the most talented young tight ends in the game, and you managed to scheme him into just a handful of catches for 46 yards. You've got a running back gashing the Bears' defense for nearly 8 yards a carry, and you still can't crack 24 points. That's not just poor execution, that's a coaching failure. And while the defense was lights out for most of the game, they folded when it mattered most. For 3 quarters, Crosby and company were everywhere, rattling Caleb Williams and holding the Bears to field goals. But when the game was on the line, when they needed just one more stop, they let Williams march 69 yards on 11 plays and punch in the go-ahead touchdown. You can't call yourself an elite defense if you collapse in crunch time. This loss wasn't about one mistake. It was the sum of all of them. A quarterback throwing away opportunities, a special teams unit tipping off the opponent, a defense folding under pressure, a coaching staff failing to adapt. Add it all up, and you get a 1-2-3 record. When you should be sitting at 2-2-2, you get a locker room questioning its leadership, and you get a fan base that's had enough of excuses. Let's break it down even further. Geno's first interception was an inexcusable late throw into coverage, something a veteran simply cannot do. His second pick was worse. It came on a dagger concept, a play the Raiders practiced all week. In practice, Geno made the throw. In the game, he got baited by Kevin Byard and coughed it up. That's the difference between looking good in drills and being reliable under the bright lights. His third interception, more miscommunication, more confusion, more evidence that this offense just isn't on the same page. And speaking of miscommunication, you could see the frustration boiling over. Geno barking at Trey Tucker to motion, linemen looking lost on assignments, receivers not where they were supposed to be. That's not just on the quarterback, that's on preparation, on coaching, on the entire system. Meanwhile, guys like Dante Thornton are eating up critical snaps and giving nothing in return. Wide open in the red zone, Geno misses him. Multiple targets, no impact. If he can't make plays, why is he even on the field in key moments? Then there's the run-pass balance or lack thereof. When your running backs are averaging nearly 8 yards per carry, when Genty is bulldozing defenders and Raheem Mostert is slicing through gaps for 15-yard gains. Why are you asking Geno to throw so much? Ride the hot hand. Bleed the clock. Instead, Chip Kelly kept dialing up passes, and we all saw how that ended. So where do the Raiders go from here? Do you bench Geno Smith? Some fans are already calling for Kenny Pickett. Others wonder if Cam Miller could provide a spark. But the reality is, ugly are tied to Geno financially. Unless you're ready to swallow that money, you're stuck with him for at least this season and next. And that's terrifying, because every snap he takes wastes the prime years of stars like Max Crosby. And let's not forget about leadership. How long can Mark Davis and this front office watch their team beat itself before making changes at the top? Pete Carroll was supposed to bring stability, but right now, he looks like a coach past his prime, running outdated schemes and failing to fix the same problems that have plagued this team for years. Chip Kelly was supposed to reinvent the offense, but all we see are predictable calls and wasted opportunities. Raider Nation deserves better. This isn't just about one ugly game. This is about a culture of failure. A pattern that keeps repeating itself no matter who wears the uniform or who stands on the sideline. Different faces, same results. Until someone steps up and holds this team accountable, until leadership changes the culture from the top down, Raiders fans are going to keep reliving Sundays like this. So what do you think? Is it time to bench Geno Smith and give someone else a chance, even if it means admitting the front office made a mistake? Should Mark Davis clean house and bring in a new coaching staff before the season slips completely away? Or is this just another chapter in the long saga of Raider heartbreak? Let me know in the comments.